I would like to start out just by thanking Craig and his team for providing this presentation today. This is something that our Employee Engagement Committee put a survey out to all of our staff, and it was, I think, in the top 2 of interests of what staff were looking for. So really appreciate you guys doing this for us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting us. I want to thank Laura and Jessica for offering us the opportunity to come and share some information on ergonomics. I also want to make your team aware, we do have a couple guests from one of my businesses up in the Upper Peninsula. So if you see a couple on names you don't recognize, that's Haley Hudson and Julia Haynes. They're with Connor Sports, is who I've been working with up in the UP, doing some projects. They're coming to watch today to see if this is something that'd be a good fit for their staff in their offices. So thanks again. We're going to kick things off with the ergonomics for the home and office. Work smarter, not harder. And I'm going to let my team introduce themselves and let them take over from here. So I'm going to ask Amy and Kathy to please take it over.
All righty. Thanks, both of you. Good afternoon. Almost said good morning. The day is going fast, which is nice. My name is Amy Hayes, and I am an occupational therapist with the Business Network Division. I've been with MRS a long time, been there since about 2003. So I am a white female with blondish brown hair. Today I have a red kind of multicolored top on and glasses. So we're excited to share some information with you. Now I'll let Kathy introduce herself.
Yes, thank you for inviting us. We're excited to be here. My name is Kathy Martin. I'm an occupational therapist with Michigan Rehab Services, the Business Network Division as well. I haven't been with the state as long as Amy. I've only been here approximately 3 years, but have lots of experience before that, working for various different medical facilities and nonprofit organizations. And I am a female with mid-length hair, kind of a light brown with glasses. And today I'm wearing a pink shirt. I'll turn that back over to Amy to get us started.
All right, just some quick housekeeping tips. You can ask questions throughout the event in the Q&A section on your Zoom interface. It's the chat, and time is reserved at the end of the event for us to answer questions. When Kathy and I can periodically look at the chat and see if we can answer anything, but we will have plenty of time at the end. And there is closed captioning available by selecting the CC closed caption button and then show subtitle if you would like that. And then if you need further technical assistance, don't reach out to Craig. I'm just teasing you, Craig, but have patience with our technology. If you do need further assistance, just look at the Zoom Help Center link, and hopefully they can answer any questions you may have. So that's it on housekeeping. So first, just a real quick, we're going to define the objectives for today. We're going to define office ergonomics, and we understand that some are hybrid, some are still working from home or going back to the office a couple of days a week. Most of us on our team are doing the hybrid thing. So we'll define the office ergonomics in both settings, and then we'll provide an overview of ergonomic principles behind healthy positioning while working. Provide information to evaluate your workstation and make healthy changes with equipment and materials that you have access to, whether it be in the office or at home. And then lastly, address the benefits of stretching and provide you some resources. So as far as defining office ergonomics, it's an applied science concerned with designing and arranging things people use, so people and things can interact most efficiently and safely. That's what we all strive for, is being efficient and also working safe. So why are office ergonomics important? Well, over time, you can develop compensatory postures or misalignments of the spine. You can have contact stress or upper extremity musculoskeletal injuries. And that, the musculoskeletal injuries, that can include like carpal tunnel, epicondylitis, or just those repetitive motion stress and injuries that can pop up. Also, office ergonomics are important because previous injuries can flare up if you're not set up properly. It's important to stay healthy, to comfortably work and be productive. And lastly, work experience does not need to include extra aches and pains. So as you can see in the picture to the right, there's a gentleman working on a computer and he's really slouched over, kind of has that vulture position is what we would call, where the shoulders are rounded and his head's kind of leaning forward. And it's just really poor posture and can actually cause a lot of stress on our bodies over time. Studies are showing that it's linked with multiple diseases. So the preganglion neurons of the sympathetic system arise from the thoracic and lumbar regions of the spinal cord. So that's your mid to lower back. And that's the area that's most affected by sitting. So that's why it's so important. Many in the medical community are linking bad posture to back compression, contact stress, and a precursor to arthritis, Alzheimer's, dementia, and even Parkinson's disease. So why does posture matter? Sitting in an awkward posture or in an unsupported position for 8+ hours can mean bad news for your neck, for your back, your wrists, and it's not fun when you're not, feeling healthy. It's not fun to experience pain. Pain can make us, grouchy, can make us uncomfortable. So if you're experiencing neck strain or pain, that could be caused by looking down at your laptop screen or your monitors for too long if they're not at the right height. And then low back pain, that can be caused by sitting too long in an unsupported position, or even if you are supported, if you're just sitting too long. We need to take those intermittent stretch breaks. And then wrist pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, that could be caused from keying with your wrist bent, not in that neutral position. The most common nerve compression disorder of the upper extremity is carpal tunnel syndrome. And that usually entails some numbness and tingling in your finger and thumb, maybe decreased grip, maybe waking you up at night. So not fun. Don't ignore the pain or the discomfort. Make sure you address it. Typically, the sooner you address musculoskeletal disorders, the sooner that they can go on their way. So here are some benefits of good positioning and posture. Comfortable workspace is going to make you feel better. So enhanced productivity, that's something that we all strive for, I think, and want to do. Benefits of good positioning also include increases your concentration and thinking ability. It can definitely reduce that pain and discomfort. It can improve your overall mood and satisfaction, improves digestive health, facilitates breathing. It can even increase your energy. And it just looks good. You feel more confident and it feels good, looks good when you're sitting upright and have that good posture. So these 8 ergonomic principles that we're going to go over, you can apply for in the home as well as the office. So both settings. So the first one, and there's a little picture to the right kind of depicting what the 8 principles are. So the height of your work surface should allow you to work without reaching or bending. And you want to arrange commonly used items such as documents or phones that are in an easy reach, within an easy reach. You don't want to have to reach far for those most frequently used items. Number 2, you want to position your monitor directly in front of you. Don't have it off to the side. You want it right in front of you as much as possible. If you're using multiple screens, make sure they're close together. So you're not having to scan, from right to left. So have them directly in front of you, and the top of your screen or the top third of your screen should be about eye level. If you are using bifocals though, and you're using your bifocals to read the screen, you want to lower the monitor a little bit to avoid looking up. So if you're going like this, kind of tipping your chin up and looking down through your bifocals, that means that your screen is too high. So just lower it a little bit. And a good rule of thumb is to have your monitors about an arm length away. So just stretch your arm out. It should be about at the end of your fingertips. Number 3, forearms should be parallel to the floor and at an approximate 90-degree angle from your upper arms, and make sure you relax the shoulders. A lot of times we find ourselves with our, shoulders up to our ears, and we already carry a lot of tension, usually in our upper neck and shoulders, trapezius muscles. So make sure now and then you relax your shoulders and make sure they're down. Number 4, the top of your keyboard should be level with the height of your elbow. So look at that. You want to make sure that your wrists are neutral. Okay, and then going on to number 5, which is on the next slide, position the keyboard so the feet in the back are down, so your wrists remain flat. That can help eliminate that carpal tunnel coming on too. So the little feet in the back, if you have those up, flip them down, and that helps keeps your wrists in a neutral position, and so it's not bent up. You want to use a wrist rest, so your hands and wrists remain relaxed and in a neutral position. And generally the wrist rest is really there for when you pause, when you're typing along and then you pause. If you don't have a wrist rest, they can go into that, bent wrist up position. So that's what the wrist rest is for. And you don't want something too high or bulky. As far as your eyes, you want to rest your eyes periodically. A lot of people are experiencing eye strain, visual changes. I know I have over the last few years noticed a change, but that could be age as well. But we're on computers so much more, I feel like, and especially, with people working from home, that interaction with the computer is increased. So make sure you rest your eyes. You can close your eyes for 20 seconds and then also focus on a distant object 20 plus feet away for like 20 seconds or so. Make sure you're drinking water to keep our bodies and eyes, hydrated. Blinking, that can help. So a lot of people have reported increased eye strain and visual changes. So that's really important to take care of our eyes. Maybe even invest in some computer glasses. And then lastly, adjust the height of your seat so your feet are resting firmly on the floor. If not, maybe use a footrest or a box so you're properly supported. So a comfortable workspace, again, can help you feel your best and be more productive. So one way of doing that is trying to figure out what your ideal work surface height should be. So to maintain a good posture, it's important to be positioned at your ideal height. So you want to sit in your chair and then lower your chair or raise it depending on your height. For me, it's usually lowering them because I'm on the shorter stature. But you want to sit in your chair and then have your feet on the floor or on a footrest, and you want your hips and knees level. Once you're sitting upright with your hips and knees level, then you can measure. You want your forearms parallel to the floor. The rule of 90. So the rule of 90 is 90 degrees at your hips, your knees, and your ankles. And you can see that her thighs are parallel to the floor. Some of you might recognize her from the northern area, Julie, not sure. But then you're going to measure from the ground to your fingertips or your pinky. She'll measure distance from the floor to the extended fingertips. And this is your writing work surface. And your keen work surface would be just about an inch lower. A lot of people aren't doing much writing anymore, but obviously on the keyboard, so much more. So that's how you would measure your ideal height. Mine's like around 26 inches high. The standard desk height, typically where desks are like fixed height desks, or when a company is coming in and placing desks, they're generally around 29 inches high. That's the standard furniture height, which is great for some, but if you're on the shorter stature, it's best to have them lowered a few inches depending on what your ideal height is. So that's how you would figure that out. And then next, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy for the second half of our presentation.
Thank you, Amy. So if you're using a laptop in the office without external monitors or a keyboard or a mouse, over time, this will lead to those aches and pains that Amy had mentioned. Excuse me. When you look at these pictures, I think we all can agree there's definitely some improved posture shown in the picture on that right, when that external keyboard and the mouse and the laptop riser are in place. It definitely puts her in that upright posture that Amy mentioned without that kind of hunched over posture. Her back is straight, her neck is straight, and her monitor is at that proper eye level that Amy mentioned. So you may have nice monitor risers at the office, but maybe not at home if you are one of those that are working that hybrid schedule. So when you're at home, see what you have available that maybe get creative, that you could give you the opportunity to rise that monitor level up. So potentially using a stack of books or a shoebox or even an Amazon box, but make sure it's sturdy. There is even a YouTube video. There's a YouTube video on everything, right? So there's even a YouTube video on how to make a laptop stand, even from just a basic shoebox. If you are using 2 external monitors or even a laptop with an external monitor, again, looking at the position of those monitors, try to position them at the same height as much as possible. And again, a riser may be needed if your monitor height is not adjustable, or even if that laptop is not in proper position. Again, you just want to make sure that those are at that proper position that Amy talked about, so you're not flexing your neck. And again, you just want to have those as close together as possible. Next slide, please. We also encourage the use of footrests. They help to facilitate positioning in an ergonomic chair using the backrest that's available. It's a good cheater for any seat depth issues. So when we talk about seat depth, ideally you should have approximately 2 to 3 finger width between the edge of your seat and the back of your legs or your calf. We don't want that contact stress or lack of circulation occurring that would be present if the back of your legs were putting pressure against the back of that chair. It's also a good cheater for work surface height that Amy just mentioned. If your seat is too high with your feet not supported, it can flatten out the lumbar curve of your spine and lead to low back pain or increase even existing low back pain. Things that can be used as a temporary fix include a box of paper until a footrest potentially can be obtained. Again, that footrest is used as an anchor to give you that good base of support, which can improve sitting posture. So again, talking about some of those examples that can be used at home. Here's just a picture of a shoebox, or again, that famous Amazon box that we probably all have a ton of over these past couple of years. Seems like I see Amazon trucks in a lot of different driveways. Just make sure that the box that you do use is a thinner box that positions your legs at that proper height. We want to make sure that your knees are not higher than your hips, as Amy talked about, keeping those thighs parallel to the ground. Next slide. So having a supportive chair is also important. Don't be afraid to play around with your office chair and make adjustments to meet the needs of your structure. Most chairs that are in offices are ergonomic chairs, and they include adjustments including back height, lumbar, tilt, and even seat depth and armrests. A lot of times it's just a matter of playing around with those knobs and levers that are on your chairs that a lot of people don't even know what they do or what they're for. And you're not going to hurt the chair. And you can always put the position back in the position you did have if you don't feel the changes are increasing the support that you feel that are needed. Several offices have transitioned to either strictly cell phones or communicating through computers, while some others still have some desk phones. Regardless of communication style, use a hands-free option. Use the speaker setting on your device when possible. If you're at a desk phone, use the speaker function and maybe with a headset. Use that headset or earbuds even for confidential conversations, or if you have a lot of background noise, or if you're in a cubicle that you don't want other people to hear those conversations, use that headset that will put you in a better ergonomic position over holding onto a receiver with your hands or trying to hold it between your ear and your shoulder, which is the next bullet. Avoid holding your phone to your ear for long periods of time, or again, between that ear and the shoulder. You want to, again, use those hands-free options that are available to you. We wanted to share that the Center for Disease Control, otherwise known as the CDC, actually completed a study. They found 87% felt more energized when they were implementing a standing project or sit to stand or standing while they're completing some of their job tasks. 75% felt healthier, 66% felt more productive. And if you would like additional details on that study or just have further interest in learning more, feel free to visit that website at juststand.org. And that will be a link that will be shared with you after the presentation. As mentioned, changing positions has lots of benefits. If this is not something that you're used to, there are various things that can be done to develop a new habit. You could set a digital alarm or kitchen timer to ring at 30 to 40-minute intervals. Use Outlook reminders to stand periodically. Put a sticky note on your monitor as a reminder to stand and stretch, or use a Fitbit or other wearable device that tracks activities or reminds you to move. Try an app such as next slide, please. Craig, you might have skipped one. Go back one, please. Okay, we might be missing a slide. I apologize. So I'm just going to keep going, and the bullets aren't there, but just make note. Try an app such as, there you go. Thank you. Try an app such as the Sit Stand Coach. Have a standing meeting, or if you're participating in a meeting or a conference or webinar such as even this, stand during that time, or stand while you're talking on the phone, or when you're reviewing documents. You could do those at a counter height. For those working at home, you could even review those documents at your kitchen counter or at top of your washer or dryer, even if that gives you a proper height. Or even put your laptop on top of the laundry room counter or washer, dryer, kitchen counter, where you're reading through emails or completing other computer related tasks. Okay, on to the next slide. Okay, thank you. So in summary, here's what you can do to improve ergonomics of your workstation, whether that's at home or in the office. Sit and stand properly and with good posture. Adjust your chair. Don't pound your keys and don't grip with the mouse too much or forcefully. Take many stretch breaks throughout the day. Practice good body mechanics if you must reach, lift, carry, push, or pull. Eat healthy and drink lots of water. Use an ergonomic self-assessment periodically, such as computingcomfort.org. And again, this link will be shared after the presentation. So computingcomfort.org, next slide, please. Thank you. Computingcomfort.org is an interactive tool to assess your workspace. And when you log on to computingcomfort.org, just wanted to give you a glimpse of what you might see. This is a free interactive self-assessment, which literally can be completed in less than 1 minute, but it can offer suggestions that can be life-changing. We encourage each of you to be proactive, take this assessment, and make the changes that are suggested to your workstation. At the end, it'll give you a summary of changes that could be made to make your workstation more ergonomically friendly. So besides the information shared from the CDC, additional benefits of physical activity include, in addition to some of those Amy had already shared, it can improve the cognition or thinking. It can reduce short-term feelings of anxiety. It keeps you thinking and learning, and it helps your judgment skills stay sharp. Next slide. It reduces your risk of depression and helps you sleep better. It helps with weight management, and it actually strengthens bones and muscles, and it improves balance. So when you move around, stand up to take a call or go for a short walk or fill up your water bottle. Next slide. So in addition to physical activity, include time to stretch. Stretching also helps to increase blood flow, reduce tension and fatigue. It can prevent injuries and maintain range of motion, and it can provide mental or emotional break, and it just feels really good. Next slide, please. So the Business Network division created an 11-minute stretching video. So feel free to view it after this presentation, or once this link is sent, save it as a reference and be proactive and implement this. Maybe if it's hard to implement into your daily routine, start out with once a week and then maybe go to every other couple of days, put it on your schedule. Again, stretching can help prevent some of those injuries. Craig, were you going to try to tackle showing a couple minutes of this video?
Due to technical skills and abilities, I'm going to bypass that, but I will share it after the presentation today.
Okay. So while some may have returned to the office full-time, others may be working a hybrid schedule. We recognize that there are challenges to having two offices. So having different equipment at both places, transporting files and laptops, ensuring that the business culture is met, setting up both offices to meet individual needs, the collaboration between employees and finding a way to collaborate between employees if you are working that hybrid schedule. And as we stated throughout this presentation, we recommend implementing these suggestions at both offices as much as possible, both the office and then the home office. Next slide. So here are some additional resources and references. And again, this will be sent out after the presentation. But for anyone who's interested, feel free. These are direct links to the different websites, and it gives additional information on ergonomics, prevention, the computing comfort link is on here. Some really good resources. Next slide. So today you've had a chance to meet myself and Amy. However, we are statewide resources, so there's a good chance that you might come across some of these other names or faces, or even maybe meet some of these other individuals. So we just wanted to take a quick minute to share the other faces that do make up our OT team within the Business Network division. So first we have Angela Blanchard, who's housed out of the Oak Park office. Nicole Flairman, who is an occupational therapy assistant, who's primarily housed out of MCTI. Renee Lyon is an occupational therapist, primarily housed out of MCTI as well. And Tanya Peterson, who is our program manager, primarily housed out of Oak Park. Claudette Reed, who's an occupational therapist, primarily focusing on serving the kind of northern and western part of the state. She's housed out of the Lansing office, but she primarily kind of is located, the hybrid schedule located over in the west side. And then Christine Roberts, who is also housed out of the Oak Park office. Next slide, please. So with that, we would like to open up the floor to any questions that anyone might have.
I'm not
Any
seeing anything in the
questions in the
chat at the moment.
Chat?
Nope, nothing in the chat.
Craig, you said you will be sending like this presentation. We'll have access to that as well.
Yes. and
You can
we'll
use it as a
send
resource guide.
Yep, we'll send a copy of the presentation as well as some of the other resources we talked about today. And Laura, I'll send that directly to you and let you disseminate it to your team.
Thank you.
Right. There are no further questions. Then thank you for coming today.
All right. Thank you.
Great. Craig, can you send me the recorded session too, so I can
Yes.
share it with the staff? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send you everything. All right. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.